Hello and welcome to another edition of another book review. This week I'll be reviewing The Cloisters by Katy Hays. I'll talk very briefly about the author, go into an overview, a spoiler-free overview of the plot, talk about what I liked about the book, what I didn't like about the book, who I'd recommend the book to, and finish off with what I'll be reading for next time. Katy Hays this is her debut, The Cloisters. Couldn't find a ton of about her online. She has I believe, a master's degree and a PhD in art history, which plays a part in this book. She's also done, I think, some academic publishing as well. This book, The Cloisters, is about a character from Walla Walla, Washington, a young woman whose name is Anne, and she accepts a summer internship at, I believe it's a museum in New York, and through kind of a twist of fate, she is brought on to another museum called the Cloisters, which is essentially a museum that specializes in Renaissance art. And this is one of the things that she has studied while in Washington, and so she's kind of a perfect fit for the job. And we kind of see her getting kind of brought into this world, especially with the gentleman who kind of runs the place is named Patrick, and he is obsessed with tarot and finding kind of the original tarot deck. It's kind of this obsession that he has. And through kind of a series of intrigue and plots, she kind of becomes kind of deeper and deeper into this world of tarot, and really trying to answer the question of if there is such thing as an original tarot deck, does that deck really do what it's supposed to do, which is to tell the future, essentially. Can you tell your fate based on this tarot? And there's other interesting characters along the way. There's a character named Leo, who is a gardener. There's a character named Rachel, who has kind of a mysterious past of her own, and kind of her own secrets. We learn as the book goes on that Anne kind of has her secrets as well. And so the book is told through Anne's perspective. And so I thought that this was a fun premise. You'll see oftentimes this book compared to The Secret History, and I can definitely see some instances where that is true. You have some similarities with started being dark academia and kind of this kind of world, this hidden world of the tarot cards and what they mean, and the kind of search for this truth, if this does in fact exist. I thought it was a really breezy read in terms of pacing. I think I plowed through this pretty quickly. I think it's a fun summer read because it all kind of takes place in the summer in New York City, and so I think that the author really captures that feel of that time, and kind of the energy of kind of moving to a new city and having this job and kind of being kind of entering into this world. I think that's really fun. I also think that she does a good job with the ending. I thought the ending was pretty strong. It doesn't wrap up everything that I would have liked to have wrapped up, but I thought that it was a good overall finish to the story, and kind of tied up most of the loose ends, and I kind of think it ends at a pretty strong spot. I guess if there was any cons I wish there were a couple characters we spent a little bit more time earlier in the book fleshing out a little bit. There's some characters who feel a little bit caricaturish, and you kind of see some of the threads in the plot where they're going because of the way that some of that is handled. I think there were some strange kind of plot points that kind of get brought up and then kind of don't necessarily get brought up again. I think that there's kind of a little bit of an explanation towards the end of the book about some of this stuff, but some of it you're just kind of like, why did that happen? And no one's going to question this. And then some of the characters, I think, are kind of willfully foolish at certain points in the book, which I found kind of annoying. And I think the pacing up until, I'd say, the midpoint really works. There's something that's kind of a little bit of a twist in the middle, and I wish there had been more setup for that twist, and that plot point kind of feels like it comes out of nowhere a little bit. And then if there's one kind of from a craft standpoint that I think she could have nailed down better, I think some of the dialogue is very exposition heavy in parts, and some of the dialogue I didn't really necessarily believe would come out of some of these characters' mouths at certain points, especially in the book. But overall, I thought this was a really fun debut novel. I had a really good time with it, and I think that it reminded me a little bit of The Secret History. It reminded me a little bit of If We Were Villains, and if I had to place it, I'd place it somewhere between those two books. But if you're a fan of either one of those, I think you'll like this a lot. And like I said, it does move pretty quickly, and I thought it hits all the beats that it needs to hit. It doesn't have a lot of extra scenes to it. It's pretty lean, and I think overall it was a success. And so I would recommend, if you're a fan of dark academia, if you're a fan of The Secret History and want something else, I think you'll enjoy this. The Cloisters by Katy Hays. Next time I'm going to be reading The Power by Naomi Alderman. And until next time, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you've checked out this book, The Cloisters, and have enjoyed it, please let me know. If there are things that I missed in the review, please point those out as well. Until next time, bye.